Hey everybody, it's your pal Ian here to talk about what's going on today in the state of the San Jose Sharks. Today we saw a couple of moves. First was Ty McGinn getting put on waivers. Ideally, I'm assuming that the Sharks want him gone at this point. I don't know why they put him on waivers otherwise, as they didn't call anyone back up. So of course that leaves a roster space open. The bigger move today, of course, is that James Sheppard was moved to the New York Rangers for a fourth round pick in the 2016 draft, along with the Sharks retaining 100K of his salary. The 100K retention of his salary is obviously because the Rangers are very heavy up against the cap. The fourth round pick, I thought the Sharks probably could have done a bit better, but you got to take what you can get in these situations. The question, I guess, now is this going to be a part of is this going to be a part of something bigger, or is this it? Personally, I think if this is it, it's probably a pretty colossal mistake. I don't think that this is enough of a movement to really change anything. I don't think a fourth round pick. The reason that Doug Wilson had a press conference after, and he did give he answered a few questions, obviously in typical Doug Wilson fashion, where, in my opinion, he says a lot of words but doesn't really say anything all at the same time. He said the move was made to pick up an asset, obviously, in the fourth round pick, but also so that Thomas Hertl could move to center. I guess my question is why couldn't Hertl play center and Sheppard play wing? I mean, is there a disconnect between Todd McClellan and Doug Wilson, where Doug Wilson feels like, well, if you're going to use this guy this way, then obviously I have to trade him, so you'll do what I want? I don't know. I mean, that's obviously rampant speculation. But it doesn't make sense because honestly, guys, in my opinion, Sheppard was better on the wing. Sheppard was a terrible face-off, man. He got burned in the face-off a lot. If you go back and read some of the blogs that I've done early in the year with the game recaps, the good, bad, and ugly, you'll find that often I bring up Sheppard getting just destroyed in the face-off circle. So, but I kind of liked him on wing. I mean, he's not Wayne Gretzky, obviously. He's James Sheppard. He never lived up to his draft pick, obviously being a ninth overall pick, I believe. He obviously never lived up to that, but at the same time, like I thought he was a serviceable bottom six guy, and on the wing he wasn't terrible. So if this is just to let Hertl play center, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, it's hard to read into anything Doug Wilson says because it seems like the script changes according to whatever he's feeling of the day, or whatever the topic happens to be. Oh, well, this is why we're changing this because we did this, and it seems like it's kind of nebulous and changes all the time. So I'm not really too sure what to make of the move, without seeing what else is coming. Obviously, we don't know if anyone else has gotten recalled yet. So I mean, there's a lot of we don't knows yet. Also, it's important to note that, as although Doug Wilson said, they've had their eye on some, acquisitions, but they can't really make a move on them right now, probably more in the off season. I wouldn't say that that rules out the idea that he could, sell a couple of more UFAs, because he didn't really specifically come out and say, no, we're completely done. He worded it very carefully that, to basically say what he's been saying all along, and that's help's not on the way here, guys. Like, there's no one coming in to try and save the season, but he might pick something up down the road. Well, congratulations, you're a GM. That's what GMs do, right? So, but I don't know. I mean, is he going to is he going to sell more players? I think so. I mean, I think that's the right thing to do. Right now, as it stands, the Sharks have a 17.1% chance, I think. I don't know. It might have changed with some of the out of town games today, to make the playoffs, which isn't really obviously good. I mean, the Sharks are really put themselves in a bad way. And I personally think that if you can get anything for your assets, do it, because, you know, what are you going to do otherwise? You're going to let them walk away for nothing and still be this, the same team minus those players next year? I think if you can get draft picks or whatever, you do it. I know there's a lot of people with hope that this is the Sharks and they're gonna, this is all moving for a big acquisition. I really don't see this, guys. I mean, obviously Doug Wilson's gonna say the right things, that yes, we're still in the playoff hunt. Technically, we're in the playoff hunt, but the amount of stuff that we would have to do for ourselves, like, well, not ourselves, obviously, as the fans, but the things that the team would have to do for itself. I mean, they have to win games. They have to win, I don't know, 14 of their last 20-ish or whatever they're down to now. I think they still need to win 14 of them. What in our history of the season makes us think that's going to happen? I don't know. And I don't think one player is going to change that. And I don't think selling off assets or getting rid of like a Thomas Hurdle, for example, or draft picks is going to, to bring in one guy is going to change the fate of this team. They're so far out of it that I don't understand what the purpose would be at this point. So that's basically what it is. We have, unfortunately, more questions than answers at this point because we don't know what's going to happen between now and noon Pacific tomorrow or 3 p.m. Eastern. We don't know what's going to happen. And until we know who's getting called up, if there's any more sale, and, and then we can kind of evaluate it, then I'm sure I will. But for the time being, I don't hate this move. I just want to know what this move leads to because I think it could go any number of ways. I think this could be a move where it could be positive. It could be a move that could be kind of negative. It depends. If this is a beginning of a selling of assets, I think that's what Doug Wilson should be doing this trade deadline, and that's what he should be doing. If this is it, if this is James Sheppard's the big, we sold James Sheppard and we're just gonna roll with what we have for the rest of the year, that's probably a bit of a letdown for the trade deadline. And if we start moving real assets to pick up a player to help us win now, that would be the worst possible outcome of this trade deadline, in my opinion, anyway. And it's not because I don't want the Sharks to win; it's because I don't want the Sharks to be the team that empties out the cupboard completely, and then after they've done that and haven't won still, because the Sharks are no way, shape, or form built to win this year, then they decide they're going to do a proper rebuild, and that would be catastrophic to the franchise. As far as obviously with things going on tonight, you're seeing a lot of discussion on Doug Wilson. My take on Doug Wilson has always been kind of this. Up until really this year, specifically, I didn't really like our chances of winning. But up until for many, many years, I thought the Sharks legitimately had a chance. And I think that obviously, yes, as you want your team to win, you want your team to win, obviously. But to me, if the GM puts together a team that I think has a chance to win, that's all as a fan I can ask for. Something that gives me hope. I mean, this year I didn't have a ton of hope going into it, and it certainly got drained out as the season went on. But other years, I always thought, the Sharks were there. They could compete. And so I can't really fault Doug Wilson, but it's not like he has like an endless, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. He doesn't have endless gratitude from me. I mean, he's going to have to start really managing the team in a new phase. And, just because I'm a fan of Doug Wilson today doesn't mean I'm going to be a fan of Doug Wilson tomorrow or the day after that. It really all depends on what he does from here. So that's kind of my rambling take on what happened today. If you have any comments, questions, anything like that, throw it up, throw in the comments, let me know. I'd be happy to discuss them. Thanks for watching. Bye.